Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming. Today is day 3. This is our third webinar of 6 free webinars. I'm so excited for today because today our topic, my 5 top tips for in-person sales. This is a really big one. So this and posing is probably what I get asked about the most. So obviously I wanted to take today and talk with you about that because I just feel like it's relevant. So before I get into that though, again, let me just say my daily reminders. Please make sure to visit elizabethcraigeducation.com so that you can sign up for the newsletter so that you can so that you can be up to date on everything ECE. You can also check out the 10-week program and get a little bit more information about that on the website as well. You can also see blog posts and all kinds of really terrific information. There's also a link on there where you can sign up for the webinars. We do have 3 more webinars next week. You are not going to want to miss them. We are going to be doing a live shoot on Wednesday, which everybody seems to be super excited about. So I'm pretty excited about that as well. And then obviously on Tuesday and Thursday, we're going to be covering some things as well. Tuesday, what is that one again?
Tuesday, we're talking about building confidence in your clients.
Building confidence in your clients. That's another big one. I get a lot of questions about that. And then Thursday is knowing your worth, finding your worth, getting some confidence to be able to move forward in your business and what I like to call no excuses. So let's get started. Today, I'm going to be talking with you about my 5 top tips for in-person sales. Now, these can really be applied whether you do a la carte in-person sales or if you do packages. So that's what's really great about this. You can really apply this to anything. I know that there's a lot of debate out there whether you should do packages or in-person sales. I think you should do whatever you want to do. I think that that's the most important thing. I started off with packages. I moved into in-person sales for a really long time, thought I wanted to move back to packages, and then I was like, no, I really, so I stopped doing that and I moved back to in-person sales. What I would like to say about that is that you do what you want to do. And as I said in the very first webinar on Tuesday this week, this is something you'll hear me say so much. Nothing is permanent. Nothing. So one of the biggest questions I get about in-person sales is, what do I charge? And I always say, nothing is permanent. So you charge what you want to charge. And if you're getting booked, I guess like the rule of thumb is if you are getting 75% of your bookings off of your inquiries, then you need to raise your prices. So it's okay to get turned down. It's okay to get rejected. But if you are getting rejected more than like, if you're getting rejected more than like 40%, then you might want to bring your pricing down, but you should be getting rejected sometimes, right? I have probably 1 out of every 8 women will decide not to book with me for pricing. And that's okay. I'm okay with that. That helps me realize that like I'm getting like, you know, enough that it's telling me that my prices are where they should be. So let's start. That was just like a little aside. That was a little extra for you. So let's start with number 1. My first tip in in-person sales is have your own roadmap. Have your own strategy. I find that a lot of photographers, they kind of go into it like without knowing like step 1, I do this, step 2, I do this, like step 3, I do this, step 4, and also having their own really solid pricing and how they kind of want to run the show. That's really important because you really want your photo preview or your reveal to go very smoothly. So if you're jumbled and you're jumping around and then you're getting nervous because you're not sure what you're doing and you feel like you look like a fool, then your client's going to be nervous. And this is the part whenever they're getting ready to spend money with you. So you need to be able to come off super confident. You know what you're talking about. You believe in your prices. Let's do this. Okay. So that's the very first tip. Like I said, that goes with packages and it goes with your just in-person sales. If you're going to do a la carte, I do a la carte right now. If you don't know what you're doing and you're not familiar with your prices, then your people are going to be like, she has no idea what she's talking about, and they're not going to want to buy anything. So, I mean, imagine the last time that you went shopping and you were like, hey, do you have these? Like, I'm really looking for like, those stretch pants that have like the leather, stripe down the side. And the person's like, I don't even know what you're talking. Like, I don't really know. And you're just like, okay, I'm moving on. I'm going to go to Nordstrom. So you need to know what you're doing. And here's the really great thing about knowing what you're doing. If you build a roadmap for yourself, you can always refer right back to that roadmap. One of the biggest issues I think that photographers have with in-person sales is they get really, really nervous. When you're talking about like, oh my gosh, I have to sell something. Like, are you kidding me? I just like to take pictures. So if you're nervous, then you have your roadmap. There's no reason to be nervous because you know exactly what's coming and you know the exact pricing that you're charging. So there's no reason to be nervous because you've got this. You've got your whole strategy line. You've got it. You're good to go. The second thing that you want to do in line with that is you want to educate your clients on your strategy and your roadmap. Well, okay, not so much on your strategy, but definitely on your roadmap. They need to know what's coming and they need to be fully informed. And here's why. Because if you don't, they're going to show up. They're not going to have any idea what's going on. They're going to be completely out of their element and they're going to have sticker shock. When you are like, oh, here's this album for $1,100, they're going to be like, what? Like, what? Whereas if they know in advance, this is everything that I have to offer. This is the price of everything that I have to offer. They're going to be like, okay. And then they're going to come in and they're going to think that they know exactly what they want. Because when we do things on our own, we're like, well, I'd love to have the $1,800 album, but come on, like, let's just be logical about this. Like, I mean, I don't need to spend that much. So I'm going to go with the $1,100 one. And then they come in and they see their photos and they're like, I'll take 2 of the $1,800 ones. At least that's the reaction that we want, right? So I cannot stress enough how much you want to educate your clients. It only works in benefit for you. It only works to your benefit. It only works to your benefit for your clients to know exactly what's going on. At the end of every one of my sessions, I will say to them, go ahead, go back, get dressed, get into whatever's going to be comfortable for you to drive home in. When you come back out, we're going to talk about what happens next. And then when they come out, I say, okay, and guess what? You don't even have to remember any of that because I'm going to send you a guide that's going to walk you through this step by step. I just wanted you to know before you leave the studio because I don't want you walking out of the studio and being like, huh, what happens now? What happens to my photos? When am I going to get to see them? Is it going to be a week? Is it going to be 3 months? What happens next? This way, they're leaving fully confident in what they know, what they know to expect next. But they also know I don't even have to remember that because I can go home and there's going to be an email with a guide. Now, in this module, in one of the modules that we teach, oh my gosh, do we go over this? Now, first of all, whenever I cover in-person sales, it is so detailed. I actually outline my entire roadmap from step 1 to step whatever. I outline exactly what I do whenever my client walks through the door. Everything, every single thing. And that module also comes with templates for guides. So it's a great resource for you to be able to use to create your own pricing guide and those kinds of things. So I talk about the ins and outs of IPS or in-person sales versus packages. I talk about those pros and cons. Then I walk you through each. So if you're going to do in-person sales, Here's everything that I have learned in 14 years that's going to teach you how to become the best person at in-person sales. Then I walk you through packages. And also in in-person sales too, I talk to you about pricing and sort of the industry standards. What you start off with whenever you're like, I'm not so sure about this pricing thing. Like if you're newer and you're a little bit more nervous about charging people too much, I give you that industry standard. And then I talk with you about what I charge. And then also after I talk about that, I talk about packages, and I talk to you about like the psychology of packages and how you can stack your packages so that they are optimal for shopping. You make it super, super easy. Everything is really simple. And here's why. If you make anything confusing for people when it comes to spending money, their answer is always going to be no. The more simple you make it, the more easy you make it for them to follow along, the more of a chance you're going to have of them saying yes. So that's why you want every single thing spelled out for them. You want to leave no rock unturned. Now, when my clients inquire for their very first inquiry, like, hey, I'm thinking about a shoot with you, and I send them back my guide, it does not have every single thing that I offer, and it does not have the prices for every single thing that I offer, but it does have my starting prices. And the reason why is because I want them to be able to look at those starting prices and be like, oh, okay, I can totally afford the starting prices. So anything more than that, even if I can't afford anything more than that, I got the starting prices. So I'm good. So I know where she sits in her pricing about. So, and if they look at it and they're like, oh my gosh, those are her starting prices? Ooh, yeah, no, this isn't going to work for me. Then they know in advance, and I know in advance that this is just not going to be a good fit. So in any case, educating your clients so that they never have this look on their face. That's a good thing. That's what you want. You want to lay absolutely everything out. Oh, and I always forget to say this. If you have any questions, you can type them into the chat box and I'll be able to answer them for you if you have any questions about anything with this. So that's my number 2 tip. Number 3. Number 3 is you need to prepare your space, wherever that is, that you are going to be doing a photo preview. Even if you're doing packages, you should still be doing a photo preview because you always want to offer the opportunity for them to purchase more. So the next tip, number 3, is preparing your space for optimal shopping. Listen, we all know that women enjoy a nice shopping experience. We want it to be laid out well. We want to be able to see everything easily. We want to be able to touch things and pick things up and try things on. We also want it to be pretty. We want the environment to be a pretty environment. There's no reason, I don't care where your photo preview is, there's no reason you can't pretty up everything and have everything. You should have, now, first of all, you should absolutely have products. You should have samples available for women to touch and to feel, because it is a proven fact that we spend more if we can touch it, if we can pick it up, if we can flip through it. It's just a visual thing. That's just who we are. But all of your products, if you are offering any product, every product that you're offering in your guide, you should have a sample of. They should be able to see that. Asking someone to spend money on a product without them actually being able to hold it and see the size of it and the feel of it, that's just not going to work out well for you. You should also be taking all of those samples, all of those products, and setting them up in a particular area that's really, really pretty. This is an example I like to use all the time. I don't know if you've ever walked through the airport, any airport, and have you ever seen, the makeup company Benefit? They have the most adorable little tiny pink trucks in airports, and they're vending machines. And you can walk over and put your money in, and you can just, I think I'll go with mascara today. And you press your buttons and then you get your mascara. They are so cute. I only ever use one makeup product from Benefit, but every time I see their thing in the mall, I go over and buy something. It's just the cutest little thing. It's also a cute little experience. Who doesn't want to walk up to a cute little pink truck and put money in and like watch the vending machine like spit out like lip gloss for you? I just think that that's the coolest thing in the world. So they get my money because it's cute, it's pretty, and it's a cute little experience, and I enjoy it. So it's worth the $27 for me to pick up lip gloss that is probably still sitting upstairs in the box because I have like 12 of them. That's okay with me. So you want to be able to create an environment when the woman walks in or your client walks in, they're going to be like, wow, this is so cool. Low lighting, candles, music, whatever it is that you want, champagne, bourbon, whatever it is, you have to make sure that you are optimizing your space. There is a big, big difference between walking into Nordstrom and walking into a thrift store. There's a big difference. So keep that in mind. Number four. What did I say number 4 was? I didn't write these down because I'm like, oh, I got this. This is all the stuff that I know. And I know so, so well. And it's like, I don't really, yeah. Gosh, I can't even remember what number 4 was now. Oh, no, now I'm pulling a blank. See what happens whenever you don't write things down? Anyway, I'm just going to keep talking until it comes to me. So in-person sales, I would love if you would ask me a question. Nobody ever asked me any questions. I get questions. Do you know that I get questions daily in email and things like that? But come to something like this and I get no questions at all. Let me think about what else can I talk about in-person sales? No questions? No questions at all? I know you're sitting there watching me. Give me a question. Fire one at me. Go ahead. I'm waiting. So, all right. So the one thing I'm going to talk about with in-person sales, I'm going to go back to talking about the nervousness with that. I'm not a salesperson. I'm actually pretty bad at it. But that's why I have everything laid out for my clients so that I know that they know exactly what to expect. That's why I have a total, complete roadmap that tells them everything that they need to know. I've gotten questions about, let's talk about pricing a little bit too. So if you are struggling with how to price things, did you know that the industry standard to price products, if you're just starting out and you're like, I don't know about this, like what I want you to do, I want you to take, like, let's do a photo album. A photo album costs complete, let's say $250. I want you to figure out what the tax is, the shipping and handling, add that in. So let's say it's $275. What you want to do is you want to multiply that times 3. Whatever that is, that's your number. That's where you start with, right there. Everything that I have, I just remembered one of the extra things that I wanted, one of the 5 tips, and we'll get back to that. But not everything, but my big ticket items, I multiply by 8. Because when I do my in-person sales, so on the front end, I have a sitting fee. That sitting fee, I pretty much don't make any money off of because I pay my hair and makeup stylist, and then whatever's left over, I just absorb back into the studio for like beverages and those kinds of things. So I actually don't make a penny until I sell something at a photo preview. So that's why I'm pretty heavy on that end. You can choose to do this 2 ways. You can choose, if you do it my way where you do a la carte, a sitting fee. You can choose to make your sitting fee really big. So you can say, like, in order to get into my studio for a photo shoot, it's $1,000. Mine's $425. So in order to get into my studio, it's going to cost you $1,000, and then make your products much less expensive. You can do that, or you can do it the way I do it, which is I don't charge them as much to get into my studio because I feel like it's less sticker shock. Um, if they look on the website and they're like, oh my, it's like $1,000 just to get into her studio. I can't even imagine how much her products are. So that's why I do it that way. And then once they see my beginning pricing of everything, then they can determine whether they're ready for me or not. The other tip that I have for you too is to make sure that you have, I remember my other one. Yay, good me. So the other thing that I'm gonna skip to 5 because that's the first one that came into my mind, and then I'll go back to 4. So number 5 is make sure that you have little companion products around that are really inexpensive that they can just like throw right in their shopping cart. You don't have to multiply those like times 3. You can even just do like times 2 if you want to, because remember at this point, like it's just cherry on the cake. Okay, that is because on step number 4, you're going to actually just tell your client what they're going to buy. I know that doesn't sound right, does it? But that's true. Your clients more than likely are going to walk into the photo preview not really knowing what to buy because it's something that they've never done before, and they really want to know what everybody else is buying. And once you tell them what everybody else buys, then it's going to be like, oh, so you just need to lead them to that. So when women walk into my studio, I always say to them, well, 99% of my clients buy their high resolution digital images, and they buy an album. They also buy a little something for themselves. And then if they have a partner that travels, they always buy a little something to throw into his or her suitcase before they go on their trip. And they're all like, oh, those are great ideas. And I'm like, I know. And here's the thing. I know that most of them are not going to buy 4 products. I know that. But if I can at least get them to commit to 2, I'm good. And the 2 that I mentioned first are the high resolution digital images. And I talk about why they're going to want those. I talk about buying the photo album. That's the second thing. Those are my top tier products. Those are my most expensive products. So that's what I want to say from the very, very beginning. I also don't give access to my companion products unless you buy a top tier product, because some of my companion products are like $150, and I can't even imagine somebody walking in and being like, yep, that's all I want, that $150. Actually, that did happen. I was like, no, I'm going to open it up. I'm going to like open this up. Like, I'm just going to let them make their decision. And then one person did that. And I was like, well, that'll never happen again. That's a one-time mistake. So in any case, you want to lead your client right down the path that you want them to walk when it comes to what to buy. When I give them 4, I always sell 2, and probably 75% of the time I will sell 3. So little tip on there too is make sure that you're only offering products that you actually like and you want to fulfill. I have before offered other products that I was like, well, other photographers offer this. I think I'll offer it too. And then I'm like, oh my God, this sucks. And people would order them and I'd be like, oh, now I have to like do this to like get it to, oh, don't do that to yourself. And also make sure specifically if you're doing packages that you're actually looking at the cost of the stuff in the packages. Because here was a rookie mistake that I made where I was like, oh, I'll make my first package this. I'll make my second package this. We all know that the second package is the one that's going to sell the most. And then I'll add on some things, into that third package. And then I realized that people were buying the third package a lot. And I was like, wow, that like never happens. Why? Like people always buy the second package. That's like the psychological thing. What's going on here? And then I realized that it was costing me almost as much for everything in the third package as I was selling in the second package. So just make sure that you're doing the math. And then, like I said about the companion products, you want to have a lot of those around. There are so many adorable products out there for you guys to take advantage of. Little accordion folios, what are they? Oh my gosh, there's like these cute little like fold out folios where you have like 3 pictures, and there's even like messages that you can put in there for your groom or whatever, your significant other. There are little Viewmasters. Do you remember those? Like where you saw like Batman and Robin in there? Well, there's no Batman and Robin in these ones. So those are, I don't know. I mean, have you ever gone to like, you've gone shopping and you're like, oh, I'm going to take this and I'm going to take this. And I tried this on and I definitely want this. You're standing in line and there's a reason why they have the checkout line is all like shelves of like stuff that they want to get rid of and stuff that you can buy. And it's all little products and it's all cheap price. There's a reason why they do that, because it works. It's impulse buying. So create yourself like some shelves with all your cute little companion products and price them inexpensively. Because if you have the correct pricing on your top tier products that you know you want and you know you're going to get and you're going to nail that. In my area, it's photo albums. I know that there are other areas where big, huge wall prints are the thing. Where I live in Pittsburgh, it's super conservative around here. So while women want that experience and they want to be able to gift those photos either to themselves or to their significant other, they don't want them out in public. So little tip with that though, I do give them like ways that they can keep those private, but still buy them. But it's still like I almost never sell prints and stuff like that. So my big seller is albums. So that's where I put all of my time and energy. Wherever you are in the world, that's what you're going to want to look into. You're going to want to figure out what your top two, always have two top tier products that are priced at the least like the bottom of the barrel, whether like my album, I don't do anything under an 8x8, but I make sure that my 8x8 photo album is priced like if that's all I sell, I'm walking out going, all right, would have been nice if I would have sold a little more, but I got exactly like, this is what I'm getting up out of bed for. This is the price that I'm okay with. Do I want more? Mm-hmm. But if I get this, then I'm not like, oh, well, that's kind of poopy. So just make sure that whatever that top tier product is, your lowest price is going to be still your happy price. So those are my top 5 tips. If you have any questions for me, please feel free to email me at hello@elizabethcraigeducation.com. I am going to be on here for a few more minutes. So if you would also like to type anything in the chat box, please help yourself. I'm sitting right here. Sorry, my mind went blank. That's pretty normal these days. I got to tell you. All good stuff going on. But you guys, this girl needs a spa day. I also want to remind you to, again, the newsletter. Don't forget about the webinars next week. If you have, like I said, if you have questions that you just don't feel like asking right now, you can always email at hello@elizabethcraigeducation.com. That's no problem. Even if they're not relevant to like this particular webinar. Also, two other little reminders. One is don't forget that if you're going to join in on the live shoot next week, it starts at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, not 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is when all the other webinars have been starting. And the other 2 webinars next week will start at that time as well. The other thing is if you are still on the fence about purchasing the ECE 10-week program, make sure you come in next week, because that's going to be like, there's still so much information next week. It's just a little bit more time for you to get to know me a little bit better. And then also by the end of next week, if you're still like, I don't really know, this Elizabeth, she's a little crazy. It's totally true. Anyway, our first class for the first 10-week program will launch on October 29th. So on October 29th, whoever signs up for the program is going to get a video for module 1. You will get the video. Every single module comes with a complete curated video with me, and some of them with Lola and John as well. Not only do you get a video for every single module, but you also get a PDF download. You get homework and there's so many templates. I got to tell you guys, and they're gorgeous. Lola did them, and they're just so beautiful. You're going to love them. There's so many of them. You also get tons of bonus material too. There are a lot of bonus films and things like that on little things that we were like, oh, we should like throw this in, we should like toss this one in. So we've done a lot of that. Also, once you sign up for and pay for the program, you're grandfathered in. So absolutely anything that we do from here on out, you get all of that content for free. There is no upcharge. There's no like unlock this with 50 more bucks. Not that at all. You just get access forever. So yay! With the first launch starting on October 29th, that means that you only have until October 28th at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to purchase the 10-week program to get started on October 29th. If you do not purchase the program, then it's totally okay, you guys, but you will have to wait 3 months until we launch the next one. Once we, so because this is my baby, like I need to be there like for the first like 10-week program, like watching and waiting and like answering questions and like checking in on everybody and just being the mother hen that I am. After that, like after the first one, we'll probably do that again for like the second, maybe even the third one. After that, like I'll get a good rhythm and I'll be able to like multitask and like maybe we'll launch like, one every 2 weeks or one a month. That's not how it's going to go the first time because I just want to be able to be very, very present for the very beginning. So not that I don't want to be present for everything else, but I feel like I'm going to get into a rhythm once I get moving. So just a little bit of a on that like if you don't sign up by the 28th, then you're gonna have to wait. So in the meantime, let me know if you have any questions and I'm gonna head off because I've got some. If you're not following me, shame on you. Yeah, I'm just kidding. If you're not following me, definitely go to Instagram at Elizabeth Craig Photography and at Elizabeth Craig Education because I am whisking myself away to an Airbnb for the next, like 3 or 4 days. And I have a bunch of shoots and I'm going to be doing a bunch of behind the scenes. I'm going to go live. When I do go live, you are more than welcome to ask me any questions. It's going to be a really fun-filled, jam-packed weekend of like work, but like fun work, So make sure that you're following along and that you're paying attention. And all right, I'm going to head off. It's like lunchtime, y'all. So I'm going to go get myself a burger. And I hope you guys have such a great weekend. And I will see you back here on Tuesday at 12 p.m. All right. Peace, love, and lots of wine, you guys. Enjoy your day.